Hi, welcome to join the information mentoring session with me. I have been mentoring Agile coaches, product owners since 2017, but I have not officially talked about the mentoring offers. Normally, companies and individuals approach us for mentoring options. As there are increased number of our past graduate or friends introduced by our past graduates, reaching out to us for mentoring programs, we're making this information session video to give you an overview of our mentoring programs. We will be discussing the following topics. What topics are covered during mentoring programs? What is the format? How does it look like for a mentoring program? What options are available? What level of commitment is required? And costs, how does that look like? And then we're going to go over some frequently asked questions at the end. So now let's first talk about the topics that we'll be covering during our mentoring programs. First, the mentoring program offers two directions. One direction is about mentoring for Agile coaches. And the other one is about the mentoring for product in general. So now if we start with topics to cover for Agile coaches, many of you took ACSM, CSBSM, or coaching circles with me. And you know, I always talk about we need to assess the situation and decide how to act. So assess, I always do this. When COVID hit, I started to stand on a balancing board when I work or when I coach. So standing on the balancing board gave me all of a sudden a click and an insight. So one day I all of a sudden realized when I was doing this, literally Agile coaches stand on the balancing board, and the switch among teaching, mentoring, facilitating, professional coaching, and consulting as needed. Many know the Agile Coaching Institute competence model where it highlights the first four, but not consulting. I have added the consulting based on my experience coaching organizations since 2009 as either an internal Agile coach or external Agile coach or a consultant. And then consulting skills are very important to really bring low-hanging fruits, bring in positive energy, and that's it's very useful. So therefore, as an Agile coach, we stand on balancing board. I keynoted 6 conferences since late 2020 and during 2021 about the very same topic, and shared the importance of value-driven strategy and the balancing board. So now you're visualizing it. To make it gender neutral, here are male coaches on balancing board as well. Then you probably wonder, okay, it's great. Agile coaches, we stand on the balancing board, and where do we utilize our skills, our competence? We can stand on our balancing board and travel to different playground or arena in an organization. Here's a list of different places we can travel to. I'm very sure many people started to work as a Scrum Master originally, working with a Scrum team. So then we're looking at the people, developers, and product owners. But don't forget, there is a product behind the product owner. So we want to also evaluate the need to coach our product. Understanding product specific is strategy, its life cycle, and also what type of life cycle it has and what type of prioritization and how does value get defined, all of these for product excellence. And it is just a matter of time we will work with the human resource. First, how HR can support individuals, teams, and organizations for our new way of working, a new way of thinking in terms of environment and some specifics part, such as performance review, goal setting, career path, compensation model, all of these are very important. That is the first dimension of the involvement of human resource. The other aspect is how HR can actually benefit from Agile, improve how they work, how they provide services. And then there's also supply and sourcing, the very same logic applying to supply sourcing as well. How they support us and how they can benefit and improve how they work. Similar logic for marketing. Here, marketing is a general term. Many companies have different term, different definition, and different org structure, different focus. So it can include pre-sales, distribution, marketing, and it also can have two parts as well. One is how to best support our product, a very, very key stakeholder, and the other is to best benefit from Agile value and principle. A leadership team, without saying, it's very important. It is also just a matter of time. We have to focus on that. It's not about the teams working with Scrum, how leadership supports and builds the environment, and how they embrace change. And then it's also about the organization as well. You'll notice that I put culture and structure in rather small fonts. It's not that they're not important. Here, I want to highlight a very, very important message, which is about the importance of strategy. Some people think Agile and Scrum will help with everything. Once we start to work with Agile, teams are rolling with Scrum, everything will be great. Not exactly. Working with Scrum will help our organization to become more flexible. In my certified Agile leadership workshop, I always compare our organization with our body. It's almost like our body practices yoga, so we become very flexible. That's about our body. We still need to make smart decisions right here as a person. So at organization level, this is our organization strategy. That could be business strategy. That could be, we have multiple product lines. Each product line could have multiple products. What is the business strategy working with that? And what is operational strategy? And that is equally important. And then you also notice there's a box on the bottom, and that is yet to be filled in because our situations are different. Maybe some of us have access to the board. Some mentees may be working in the consulting setting, and then you have the company to work with, and there's also the product, and the company give you work to do. So then there are two parts. Or maybe you work in the company who have a product and services, but outsource their work to a consultancy company. So as you see, the ... the last empty box is about context, the specific topics. So everything we discussed is content we will be covering during our mentoring program for Agile coaches. And of course, it will depend on your work scope. For instance, if you work with one team, multiple teams at this moment, some of the area will not be covered because our mentoring program is not about teaching. It's me standing on the balancing board. It's about how to help you, how to make it helpful for you. Now let's look at the other part of the mentoring program. So we also have a mentoring program for product owner. So product owner role is critical in an organization. How product owner role is designed and how to make product owner role successful is critical. So the mentoring program is to help you grow your product while grow you with product ownership. The topic we cover actually is pretty much everything about product owner's role. So I always use product owner's head to talk about the focuses. One side is to focus on the importance about stakeholders. And then the other side is very special stakeholder teams. And then also right here in the center, a lot of strategic thinking. So therefore, a shortlisted topic include product vision, product goal, and our product strategy, and how do we innovate our product strategy, our product roadmap definition, and strategy development, competitor analysis, and the product strategy. How do we use that information? What decision do we make? And release planning. When do we release? What do we release, and why do we release? Stakeholder management and collaboration. Marketing strategy. How do we collaborate with marketing department? How do we best benefit from that? And bring hypothesis-driven development to our product. So we continuously validate, continuously experiment for our product excellence. And value definition and the prioritization, aligning with our releases and roadmap strategy. As we know, value today and will not be the same a year from now, and was not the same a year ago. So therefore, how do we define value? How do we prioritize? And what are some specifics about the type of product you're working with? And then dependency, risk management at product level. How do I take in the technical dependency, technical risks, and technical uncertainties? And how do we develop niche product and niche features? And then how do we collaborate with multiple teams? And then in general, how do we work with development teams' competence and improve product quality and enhancement? And in general, when we look at the product, how do we bring in product innovation, whether it's sustainable, disruptive, as per your strategy? So in short, it covers all aspects of product management and product ownership as needed. And the goal is to, again, to help grow product ownership. And of course, the ultimate goal is to grow the product. And then format. So, or in short, how does mentoring session look like? It actually exactly looks like this. As an Agile coach, I am standing on the balancing board, and as needed, I will be switching to different stances. Maybe I realize, although, for instance, maybe you took an earlier workshop with us, and then we talk about release planning, we talk about roadmap planning, but maybe you have challenges, or maybe you don't quite recall. So as you see, I switch teaching, maybe mentoring. And so in short, the goal is to help you grow while you're supporting your product and all your organization's growth. Of course, if the mentoring scope is individual, I do not work with your company directly. I'm only working with you. Unless the mentoring scope is company internal mentoring, then it depends on the contract details. So I may work with different people as needed, such as, for instance, leadership team, and also maybe the head of your organization as needed at executive coaching level. So that is depends on, again, what is the contract details. And then this also bring in the next topic, options. So I talk about individual coach mentoring and also company internal. So what are the options available? There are actually three. One is about individual mentoring, and this option is available for Agile coaching and or for a product owner. And then for public group mentoring, and due to the specifics about a product and also a product owner role, this option is only available for Agile coaches. We have so far worked with also selections for public group. So it's not that you maybe come with 3 friends and you want to have a mentoring session. Ideally, we want to always try to give you some guidance. And then that is for before, when people are reaching out, when they form their group together for diversity. So when we have diversity and also similar context of work and scope of work, that will make a mentoring program really beneficial. Not only you grow, you learn all different possible challenges and growth, and also that can help you to move possibly from one industry to another as well. So the last one, number 3, is about company internal mentoring. So details can be discussed as needed. So if I use product mentoring as an example, I may mentor the product owner, the stakeholder, product management, or product managers as needed to improve the product as a whole. I can also work with the product owner. The product owner will work with the stakeholder and product managers as needed. I may also work with the chief product owner and then together, maybe with all the product owner in the group. So therefore, there could be individual work, there could be group work, all in all is as needed for the very same goal of improving the product. And then now let's talk about commitment. Mentoring program requires much more commitment compared with the CSM, CSPO program. It's not just chop, 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 you spend 2 days and you get your CSM, you get your CSPO. It's really about the continuous commitment during mentoring session that you're focused and also in between. And so therefore, we're not looking at long homework. Like some of you experienced with my CSP-SM or CSP-PO program, but still in between approximately an hour time to take the time to reflect and do homework if of course if it is applicable. And another commitment, very important, is that you practice. So practice makes perfection. So you practice, for instance, for Agile coaches, you try to evaluate the balancing board and try to think about it. Just now, when we talk about the balancing board, you remember, yeah, we can switch to different stance. We need to decide where to go. And therefore, how do we decide where to go? We talk about it during our mentoring session. And they need to go back to practice so that it really means something. It becomes part of you. And also act on the actions explored during our mentoring session, which will allow you to come back to the next session, share what worked, what results and what challenges you might have encountered. So therefore, all in all, commitment. And next, let's talk about cost, the easiest topic at this moment, and it varies. So there is a link you can click on to request a quotation. Please enter as much information as possible. The information is particularly important if you plan to join public mentoring group. The more details you provide, the easier it will be for us to form proper mentoring group that best benefit all participants. And then now let's take a look at some frequently asked questions over the years. First one is, I'm interested in certified team coach, CTC, and or certified enterprise coach, CEC, with Scrum Alliance. Does the mentoring program help? Yes, it does. And our mentoring program covers more than the CEC and or the CTC program evaluates. And however, we do not list our program as a CTC or CEC mentoring program because many people are only looking for growth. And if you are looking for a program to tell you how to fill in the application, is not really a mentoring program for growth. In a way, you're at the wrong spot for mentoring program introduction session. So our mentoring program, all in all, again, is to grow you so you can grow your organization, you can grow your product. And it's not about, oh, how do I fit that in? And then that's not part of the program. Second, what if my schedule changes? I cannot attend the upcoming mentoring session. First, when we get started, we have a predefined cadence, normally bi-weekly. Assume, let's say, every Monday, let's say at 8 o'clock. And then Of course, that means next Monday, 8 o'clock. However, we do understand that many of our mentees are actually consultants. You have your company, or even you're an internal employee. Your role is very critical. So in short, it's common our schedule change. So what we do is that we sync up calendars after each mentoring session to fix the next mentoring session date. So certainly, if you join individual mentoring program, the syncing is only between you and me. Then it's a lot easier. If you join a public session, then we're looking at possibly you plus the other few and plus me. That can be slightly difficult. So therefore, that is also one factor. If you think possibly your schedule may change every week, every other week, and then maybe considering the individual mentoring program instead, then I can make myself flexible to adjust to your dates. So that is about schedule change. Next one, I'm not quite sure if my company will sponsor a mentoring program. Is there a specific program name on the invoice or the receipt? First thing I want to highlight, because my company is incorporated in Sweden, so we work with invoices only, and that is for participants within the EU. And then if you are living somewhere else, then that will be a credit card payment or something, unless it is a company, unless it's a company. For instance, working with a company, let's say in United States, my clients, of course, I invoice them, they do wire transfer, and then we work with invoices. However, for individual level, I should have made it clear. So at individual level is an invoice only within the EU, unless it's a company-sponsored activity. Second one, yes, there is a specific program name that we put on the invoice or receipt as needed based on your specific situation. And then the very last question that we have received so far is actually something I tried to cover already. I work with mentee only unless the mentoring program covers the company, its internal mentoring program, and that depends on the scope of our coverage as per our agreement. So all in all, the intention of the mentoring program, again, is to grow you while you are supporting your product and your company. So therefore, I work normally by default, particularly if for individual mentoring only with you. And you grow and you try to bring what we talk about during our mentoring program back to your work so that you practice and you improve and your product, your organization improve. That is the intention of a mentoring program. I hope this answered all the questions you may have so far. I hope also you find this information video is helpful to you. If not, you know how to get in touch with me. So greetings from Stockholm, and although I'm far away, but I'm just one message away. Thank you and hope to see you soon.